Hey friends, it's been a while since I've made a video and I wanted to touch on why that is and on what I'm going to do differently to get through it and continue to grow as a creator, as a videographer, as a YouTuber, without getting myself stuck in the place that I got myself stuck in. So what happened was that I took the part-time YouTuber Academy late last year and it was great. I learned a huge amount about production value, about gear, about the kind of videos that YouTubers make on YouTube. And that was a very different style of thing from what I was making before that, which was very much these 5, 10, 15-minute ad libs, one take. If there's background noise, that's fine kind of deal. And I was much more consistent with those kinds of videos. It was much less of a thing to have to make them. Whereas now, the last video I made was this much higher production value, scripted. There was music and B-roll and just, it was a much more kind of complex endeavor. It was a good video, I think, for where I am, but it kind of created this bar in my mind of, oh, videos have to be there. And for some reason, like, I just haven't made anything since then. I haven't wanted to go back into that place. So what I'm doing now is thinking, okay, I'm going way back to how I used to make videos, which is just ad-libbing and talking to the camera, and restarting that creative process of just make videos and put them out there and then grow naturally, rather than what I think happened was kind of artificially accelerate my production value, and the kind of videos I was making weren't conducive to just churning stuff out. So this video, I want to talk a little bit around the idea that art is made of constraints. So anything creative is made of the constraints that define it. And this is, I think, where I got stuck. So when I had just a mobile phone and a crappy clip-on lav microphone, that was much more conducive to me making just very low quality, in my mind, just point and shoot videos. And as my gear and access to understanding of what else was available increased, the constraints changed, and the kind of art, so to speak, that I found myself making changed with it. So let me just talk about that idea that art is made of constraints. So I have here a little painting that I made. It's nothing special. It's art. It's acrylic on canvas. It was 2 brush strokes, one green, one blue, continuous, and that was it. It took me about 2 minutes to make. Now, what I like about that illustration is that there are constraints there, even if they don't appear as such. So the idea of using acrylic is a constraint. The idea of using a canvas is a constraint. I can't do a charcoal on paper if I have acrylics and a canvas. Now, that seems obvious, right? But that's only because we don't tend to think of the medium as a constraint. So how else could this apply in life? When I first started writing online, I took Rite of Passage, the online course, about 1.5 years ago. I had very little in the way of process. So I would write stuff, and I should add, actually, I had very little in the way of time as well. I was commuting back and forth to work, and it was just kind of, how can I squeeze writing and anything Rite of Passage-y into my life? And I was reading stuff on the commute to work. I was going for a walk at lunchtime and outlining notes for the next essay and that kind of thing for the newsletters. And in a way, the output that I was making was constrained by those things, by limited time, by my lack of process, by my lifestyle as it was. So in a way, you could say that in the same way that this painting is, sure, it's constrained by acrylic and canvas, it's also fundamentally made of those things. It's the very character and essence of the art is made of the thing that constrains it. So the writing that I was putting out, the newsletters, the essays, the whatever, was in the same way made of my lack of time, my position in the creative journey that I was at the time. And that's reflected in reading it back now. It has that energy to it, has that vibe of someone who is at this point in their journey. Now, that is a lesson I understood at the time, but then since forgot as I went on this upgrade, polish, production value journey. I got better at those things, and even now this is a much better setup than I had a few months ago. But that only makes a difference if you use it. And I think I got stuck in a trap of, I have these new constraints now, whereas, as in, I have an expensive camera and a microphone and a softbox and editing software and access to B-roll libraries and background music libraries and all that kind of stuff. And I think I've fallen into the trap of, well, I therefore have to make different kinds of things. My constraints are different. Art is made of constraints, therefore my art has to be different to reflect my new constraints. And the art has to be more polished, more finished, more worthy of the expensive equipment and obvious effort that I'm putting in. So in the past, there would have been background noise. I'd have gone, ugh, so frustrating, and then done the clap thing and put an edit in. And doing that over and over again is really frustrating. So what I think I need to go back to, and if anyone else is stuck in the same kind of vibe of, it just seems a bit much, is to go way back to basics. Even still using the new equipment, using the new skills and experience, but take it way back to just talking to a camera, just starting from the fundamentals, and then starting again almost, tabula rasa, wiping the slate clean, in such a way as you can restart and actually put stuff out there. So I think I can see the camera has a little timer, it says 10 minutes. That's enough. I'm going to put this out with minimal editing and claim this as my restart, with an intention to rediscover and really play around with the medium and not feel like I have to be held to a standard or to a kind of output that is outside of what I want to be making right now. I'd much rather keep this playful and spontaneous and exploratory than really far too early get stuck in this must make a certain kind of thing because that's the kind of thing that people like me look like they make, right? So I'll wrap up there. Thank you for watching, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next video, which will be a lot sooner now I've made this. Thanks.